All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Voice of the Nevada National Guard. I'm your host, our first class, Rob Diehl. Today with me in the studio, my co-host, it is the state chaplain for the Nevada Army National Guard, Chaplain Todd Brown. All right, so I have a surprise for you.
Surprise for you. Let's hear it. Let's see it.
Today's sponsor,
Yes!
Hostess Jumbo Honey Buns.
That's what we're talking about.
Jumbo Honey Buns.
Yay.
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
I love it. I love it. I hope it's not just an empty box. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Oh,
okay.
no.
Because when we're done, we're going to be putting some hurting on those things.
No. It is a full box of, you can feel it. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's
trouble.
That's the real thing.
When's height and weight? That's all I want to know.
I know. And you can see the camera puts on 10 pounds.
Yes, it does.
If you must know.
And for short people, it's 15 pounds, just to let you know.
The height compromised.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Well, I'm so excited for you to be back in the studio today. If you guys saw our first video in the 3-part series, we talked about, let's see, the first one was being in the military, serving with children.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
as a dad. And later on, we're going to have some females in to speak to the mom's perspective.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the second in the series today is living with a significant other or family who does not support your service in the Nevada National Guard or in the military for that matter.
And I think that's, it's kind of, I don't know, it's weird when you say that. When I hear that, I think of somebody that's like anti-military. We're not talking about that. I don't think that you're talking about that necessarily. Sure. I think what we're talking about is just somebody that's like, hey, this is taking away from our time. Hey, we're a husband, a wife, we're a family, we're a member, and you're not here. I think that there's members out there that not necessarily don't support the military.
Sure.
They just think that, hey, this is breaking up the system.
Sure.
This is a momentum. This is a team. This is an effort as a group, and you're not here.
Yeah.
And that makes it tough. So those are very difficult and real challenges that each one of us face.
Sure. So a couple of things that I want to touch on for the audience here. Right before we started the show, we were kind of wargaming exactly how we wanted to do this episode. And Chaplain Todd Brown, Nevada National Guard, state chaplain, has a lot of opportunities with families to discuss all challenges with service.
Yeah.
But today's topic, to that point, you've had many opportunities to talk to service members, both males and females,
of course,
who are struggling with lots of challenges with continuing to serve, but specifically on today's topic about someone who doesn't support their service.
Yes, and I think that really what I want to get off, and this might be too far into where we're going. I may be jumping ahead or teaching ahead.
Sure.
But there's 3 things that we need to understand when it comes to dealing with a member, a family member, a spouse, or somebody that doesn't necessarily support or doesn't like what we're doing.
Sure.
There's 3 things that we can do to combat that, or there's 3 things that we can do to make sure that what we're doing is the right thing. And number 1 is communicate. Number 2 is communicate. No. And number 3 is communicate.
Wait, there seems to be a theme here.
Yeah. I don't want to make light of that. And I know that I made it a little bit of a funny joke there, but the reality is at the bottom, the end of the day.
Sure.
Doesn't matter if you're in a 1-year relationship, 20-year relationship.
Sure. With
your spouse, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. If you're not communicating, you will be setting yourself up for not success.
Got it.
And I think that when you said I have the opportunity to talk to a lot of different people about the challenges, I would say that probably 80-90% of them are, at the end of the day, that they didn't communicate what was going on. And that's a tough thing. When I meet with people, or I see when we do marriage retreats and things like that, and I'll see spouses really probably for the first time.
Wow.
When we do retreats. It's not really, a family day or whatever, and somebody will say, I can't believe that I didn't know that he was on AT, or that they were doing 2 weeks of AT and
really
this month, and I'm just thinking to myself, why wouldn't you communicate that? You're not going to be home for 2 weeks.
Sure.
You're going to be out of the state or sometimes out of the country doing annual training. So yes, that was a funny communicate.
Sure.
But I don't know if I can emphasize it enough. So anyways.
So communication in your experience with counseling all through the years.
Yes.
Is the number one issue with spouses and significant others in the relationship not supporting military service.
100%.
Fascinating.
And the thing is when I talk about communicating, I think to myself, there's times that, you're a young person, you're in a relationship, or you just started a relationship, and the first time that individual that you're now being serious with learn about your guard service is when you're getting ready to go to guard drill the next morning on a Friday night, and they're like, "What's that all about?" That's wrong.
Yeah.
Let me here, camera one. Let me get this.
You're on.
If that's the first time that your spouse or your partner ever learns that you are in the guard, you're wrong. Just letting you know. Just drop and give me 20. In fact, make it 40 because you're way wrong. So when I talk about communication, it's got to be like that.
Are you suggesting that because I'm being naive here?
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you. Are you suggesting that it's that widespread an issue?
It's really surprising to me. How somebody just recently said, hey, me and my spouse are not getting along, this, that, and the other. And so I dug deeper into it. We talked a lot about it, and come to find out, they had been in the Guard for 15, 18 years. I don't remember right now, but they had been in the Guard for a significant amount of time. And they just started dating, and they started getting serious with this individual. And the individual said, I don't know, why can't you get out of going to annual training? Then the argument began. And I said, well, when you guys were dating or, courting, whatever term you want to use, did you make them aware of your guard service and your duties there? And he said, no, I didn't think it was that important. Not that the service wasn't important, but telling their spouse about that or their significant other about that. And I'm thinking, at what point in life would you think that that's not important to share with somebody?
Oh my gosh.
So I don't want to. The direction that I'm going right now is hanging the responsibility or the difficulty or the challenge all on the service member. Obviously, there's other cases where the spouse or whatever just doesn't like it, has a bad experience. I think that again we'll go back to the communication thing, which I'm not going to let go this whole time. I'm just going to let you know.
I had no idea when we picked this topic out of the air. I had no idea that you were this passionate about it.
Yes, huge. Yeah. Now I'm going to go to a little story if you don't mind.
I love it. Here's your camera.
I'm on this camera. Okay. Hi, camera. We're ready to go. Okay. The story has nothing to do with the military. You're thinking, we're sitting here in uniform talking military stuff, but it has nothing to do with military, but it's a point. I want to get it across. My wife, Monica, been married for a number of years.
Sure.
Her father, love him, wonderful man. He loves to fish as much as I love to fish. If you've known me for 30 seconds, you know I love to fish.
Sure.
He loves to fish too, and he fished tournaments when they were growing up, and because of his love for fishing, and that was his passion and his hobby, he missed birthdays periodically. He missed rehearsals at choir rehearsals and things like that. He missed those things. Not all of them, but he missed them. And so when I first met Monica, she and I were talking, and I found out that her dad loved fishing. And automatically in my brain, I thought to myself real quick, right on. She understands my passion for fishing. This is a huge bonus. If this relationship's going to continue to grow, she's going to understand my desire, my love, my commitment to just my hobby and my passion of fishing. Well, I was wrong. I'm not saying Monica hates it. Don't hear that.
Sure.
But because of her past experiences of maybe grandpa or her dad missing a birthday or her dad missing a picnic or her dad missing a whatever, because of his passion, that rolled over into our relationship as well. So if I were to say, hey, I got a fishing tournament coming up in 3 weeks and I'm excited about it, I can't wait to go, blah, 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 her brain automatically goes to, what's he going to miss?
Wow.
What's he going to miss as far as what's going on in our lives? So how does that correlate to the military? I think it's a direct correlation to it. When you commit to that 1 weekend a month, 2 weekends out of the 2 weeks out of the summer, That's a time commitment. Some would say, well, it's really only about 10% of our life that we're giving to the military. And some would say that's a very small amount. But when you have children, when you have spouses, when you have life that doesn't stop moving because you went to the military, you went to do your guard drill, it's going to cause some rifts. It's going to cause some challenges. And if we're not, give me this camera right here.
That's your camera.
If we're not communicating, it's not going to go well. We just can't.
I love this.
I'm just saying. I think that man, I could talk all day about communication.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I should have preempted this when we very began. So,
okay.
My camera again. Here we go. You ready? Okay. I am not a professional at communicating. I am on the journey with everybody watching, meaning that I make mistakes as well. But here's the thing. If we make the mistake, let me rephrase that. When we make that mistake, the first step to getting better is recognizing that we made it. It doesn't mean that the second time we can not communicate and hope that it goes better, and the third time that we don't communicate and we hope that it goes better. To be better as a husband, wife, mom, dad, whatever it is, to be better at that, we need to communicate.
So you said that when you're communicating with your wife about priorities, things that are important to you, that you assumed that she understood your passion.
Yeah.
When you present that, the lens that she looks through is the impact on the family and the structure and the calendar. So tell me more about situations where, especially because you have additional commitments outside of 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer. Like for those that are watching, if you're not in the military, the chaplain is on call essentially 24 hours a day. There are all sorts of things that happen. So there are calls on you outside of that your significant other has to brace for. So let's talk a little bit more about some situations where your spouse has had to be like over the top supportive of your responsibilities.
Really good. You said multiple things there, and this is what I want to start off with. One, I'm the state chaplain. There's several chaplains in the state of Nevada. There's several chaplains assistants, religious affairs specialists, religious affairs NCOs. There's a team of chaplains in the chaplain corps, and they do phenomenal work. Phenomenal. They are committed to doing what they do, and I constantly ride them to communicate, because we have to communicate with our spouses. We have to communicate with our loved ones, our families, so that they understand to some degree that what we're doing is not to break up our family, is not to do those things that will harm the unity, the family nucleus. We have a commitment. We have what I would say that we have a calling as far as chaplains assistants, and the chaplain team. And so when we get that call, it is very difficult. There's been, I literally could spend the next 2 hours just going over those calls, and we wouldn't even touch the surface. I'm not looking for pity. I'm not looking for empathy. I'm not looking for any of that. I'm just saying that's the role of our job. And so if we're not really good at being intentional about communicating that with our spouses, our loved ones, our families, our career, our time of service is going to be shorter because of it. Let me give you an example. You said, tell us about that. For example, I've been out to dinner before and gotten a call, to do a casualty notification. And as much as I would love to say, hey, you know what, I'm really busy right now, maybe we can do this tomorrow or the next day, that's not what is demanded of me right at that moment. And so the first few times that happened, to say to my spouse or my wife and the kids that are with, hey, we need to head home. I got to change into my uniform and I got to go do this. It was tough. Not only was it tough on me, because now I have to prepare myself to do something that nobody on the face of the planet should have to do, because it's very difficult. But I also have to help my family understand that what I'm doing is in support of my community, my country, my nation. This is what I've been called to do. And so that is just a simple being on call example. Now, as I've went through the years of service that I have, I also, I'll get a call for a casualty notification. Had one just about a month ago, and I literally I call my spouse. It's the very first thing that I do. I call my spouse and I said, hey babe, I got a call. I have to do a casualty notification. And she says, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me pray for you. I'll be thinking of you. If there's anything you need me to do, just holler. And so our world stops as far as what we are doing as a couple or what we are doing as a family, and until that mission is complete. And sometimes that'll take a day. Sometimes that'll take a couple days. Sometimes it'll take a couple hours. We don't know. But why are we, Monica and I, why are we successful now as compared to 15, 16 years ago? Let me rephrase that. Why are we more successful now as we were 16 years ago or so? Because we communicated. She understood, we understand that what we're doing as chaplains, and my wife as a chaplain's wife, is about serving our community, about serving those who wear the uniform, serving our country. I think that, I think that a word that we've gotten away from in the military is service. We are in the service. If you ask anybody from the Vietnam era or the older era of military, they're not going to say, "Hey, how long you been doing your job?" They're not going to say, "What are you in the Army or the Navy?" They're not going to ask those questions. What they say is, "How long have you been in the service?" Or they'll say, "What service are you in?" Or, "When I was in the service." And so when we drift away from that concept of what we're doing in this uniform to a job or to a necessity or to help pay bills or whatever it is, when we drift away from the concept of what we're doing as a service, it makes it harder.
Wow.
It makes it harder to communicate. It makes it harder for our loved ones, our spouses, our families to understand that this is much more than a job. This is service. And so when we begin to understand that and we begin to really accept that into our hearts and our minds, when it comes to communicating the importance of what we do, it's a little bit easier for everybody to swallow. So I don't know. I think I'm way off topic.
No, I think you're exactly where we're supposed to be.
Okay.
I think you're exactly where we're supposed to be. So, interesting fun fact. In fact, we're going to take a little break here.
Okay.
When we come back, I would like to tell you about my first 6 years in the military.
Fantastic.
Meeting my first wife, our divorce, and a service break that wouldn't have been had she been supportive. So we'll be right back.